Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Bobby Hams here with some movie and TV news that caught my attention. Now, I was supposed to have done this, one of these anyway, way back on November 9th. And when the Game of Thrones news broke out about David Benioff and D.B. Weiss, how they basically admitted to not knowing what they were doing for the entire run of Game of Thrones. And there was that news that came out at that time, and some really other interesting stuff that came out at that time, but I never got around to recording the actual video for it after I had written the script, which was like 4 or 5 pages long of just notes and research that I had done. And I chose the music I was going to use for the background, and like the pictures and the video clips and other memes and stuff that I had picked out, and I just never got around to recording the video, so it never came together. Like, all that stuff is still sitting in a folder here on my desktop, just sitting there collecting dust. So like I said in my Mandalorian review about 9 days ago, 10 days ago, whatever it was, I did upgrade the computer here, and I had to redo it again this past Saturday because some things weren't working correctly. And I also used that opportunity to download OBS, our screen recording capture program, and updated my VPN for my internet connection. So a couple of other things got changed over the weekend, so I'm going to try to use that as an opportunity to basically put out that video that I should have put out on November 9th. So it'll be like a throwaway practice video just for me to see how well I can do with this new editing software and this new camera setup, see how everything works out on that front. And really, that was kind of a long-winded way of me saying that I'm going to stick with this audio format when attempting to do time-sensitive content, because I wanted to do one of these movie news things every week, post a video every Saturday or so, because weekends are usually quiet for movie news. Everyone's at home doing whatever, chores or whatever, so it's not really much going on Saturdays and Sundays. But that's been proven to be a little bit more difficult than I anticipated, because I don't do this every day, unlike Grace Randolph and others, really. But Grace is at Beyond the Trailer. She runs that channel, and she's super great. She's very positive. She really seems to love her work, reporting on the news and doing trailer reactions and all that kind of stuff. But like I said, she does it for her job. That's what she gets her money from. I don't, so I don't do this full time. And like, when I get home from work, I'm not thinking about standing in front of a camera and fucking up a bunch of takes and then spending a couple hours editing footage before I realize it's midnight and I haven't eaten anything yet and I got to be up in a couple hours. So every day is not really my goal. So I'm going to try to aim for that once a week deal. But anyway, on to the news. Like I said in my Mandalorian episode 1 through 3 review, I went on a little bit of a tangent about AMC and kind of said that they could keep churning out their sleep-inducing zombie shows. And when you know that, I think last Monday, I saw a trailer was released for another zombie program on AMC. This is going to be the second Walking Dead spinoff, and it's called Walking Dead World Beyond. Now, to me, this all but guarantees that you'll never need another sleeping pill in your life, because Walking Dead, the main program, it used to be exciting to watch. I'm not even going to front on that. I'm not going to pretend like I never liked it, because I really liked the show all the way up until season 6 when they did that fake out with Glenn in the garbage dumpster. Man, that pissed me off so much. After that thing ended, I was like, you know what? And then the psych out, and then that weird finale for that season where they did that POV shot of you don't know who's getting hit. I was like, you know what, show, you're clearly just playing for time now. You're not playing for any kind of dramatic effect. You're just playing for time. So it got boring to me. So I really did like the show up until that moment. Really, until that moment. Like, even though the stuff with all the governor and the prisoners, the prison and all that crap, I didn't mind none of that. But as soon as that fake out with Glenn happened, I was like, you know what, you've lost me. This is like the worst show on earth at this point. And so I watched the Fear the Walking Dead. I watched 5 episodes of it, and I couldn't stand the way these people thought. I was like, who the hell would think like this, when they're seeing this kind of danger going around them? Like, these people are just making like the dumbest choices you can possibly make, even for like a horror show, or even for like a horror movie. It's like that commercial that's going around that I've seen recently where it plays before the movie theater. I think it's for Geico or something. and it's these people that are stuck in a horror movie and they're making all the wrong choices. It's like, oh yeah, the chainsaw killer's coming after them. there's a car running, next to them, maybe 20 feet away. There's a running car, and they're like, let's go hop in that car and drive off. And they're like, no, don't do that. Let's go hide in that barn next to all those sharp weapons. It's pretty funny.
Crazy? Let's hide behind the chainsaws. Smart. Yeah, okay.
It's a pretty funny commercial. But anyway, like, I saw the trailer for the Walking Dead World Beyond. I wrote it down here as my notes as a walking bed because I guess it just puts you to sleep. So you've got the Walking Bed, Fear the Walking Bed, and now you've got the Walking Dead World Beyond. Now, I'm not going to put any footage of the Walking Dead trailer in this video because of what AMC did with the Preacher trailer from months ago. So the only impression I can give is that I was kind of surprised, but not surprised that it looked, the least bit entertaining or good, but really surprised that it's obviously like such a blatant, I don't know, young adult centric zombie series. And I mean young adult like in Hunger Games or like the Maze Runner type of thing, because the trailer showed a bunch of young adults trying to survive in an apocalyptic hellscape. And like Julia Ormond, I guess she looks like she's the bad person there. An adult is the bad guy here in this world here. So I was like, the world beyond what? And immediately all I could think of was Hunger Games. It's like the world beyond originality, because that's what it looks like. It looks like the world beyond originality. And so I kept on like seeing in my head was like titling it like The Walking Dead, fifth wave divergent Mockingjay Scorch Trials, because it's clearly like a ham-fisted attempt to draw in a younger audience, because season 10 of The Walking Dead, the main show, isn't doing so well. It had a couple weeks, where the ratings spiked, but overall it's lost a lot of their viewership. And I know a friend of mine told me that ever since Rick left the show and they got a new executive producer on there, I think Gimple was the old one, some new executive producers running the show now, but ever since those two things happened, the show has improved dramatically in, I guess, drama. But I mean, I can't get behind the show anymore. The whole thing with, they're finding a couple new people here and there, and then, oh my goodness, a zombie just pops up out of the sewer, and it's like, what the hell? So I mean, I can't see it happening. I'm not gonna get behind it. I'm not even gonna bother trying to tune in and pretend like I want to see it. Shannon Doherty and Melissa, what's her face? Alyssa, I forget what her name. Alyssa Milano. Then that in the 8th season of Charm, the final season of Charm, Kaylee Cuoco from Big Bang Theory and now Harley Quinn on DC Universe, she joined the final season as like a spunky new college student, which, was ready to be a badass and fight the demons and all that stuff. And like the show didn't make any sense at that point. I mean, the show stopped making sense around season 4 when Doherty left at season 3, so the show stopped making sense around season 4, and it just got worse and worse there. But then by season 8, it was just complete bonkers. And so Kaylee Cuoco, I guess, was supposed to help, maybe revive it. I don't know what the hell her point was, but it The Walking Dead is on its last legs, and it looks like the world beyond is just a desperate cry for attention, just like Charmed did with a season 8. Because I remember also Scrappy Doo, Scrappy Doo from the Mystery Gang. He was also supposed to be like this younger, hipper, I don't know, addition to the cast. Even though Scooby Doo, I can't imagine Scooby Doo ever losing popularity, because I mean zoinks, you know what I mean? Just zoinks. So on to the next thing that caught my attention was the International Emmy Awards, which I guess is actually a thing. Anyone who's actually watched it, please don't take offense to that, because I didn't know it actually existed. I don't watch any awards shows in the US, except maybe Ricky Gervais's monologues of, I think he does Emmys and Golden Globes or something, but I'll watch his part of the shows, the clips that they'll eventually put on YouTube. I don't watch the shows at all, because the shows to me don't mean anything to me, so I don't watch them. So to hear that there was an actual International Emmy Awards, that was kind of surprising. I was kind of shocked, because I was like, wow, there are other countries in the world beyond North America, and they make movies, and those movies win awards? What? Of course, that's sarcasm. I've been around. I've been around to several countries, and I do love foreign films. So I just didn't know that this actual awards thing existed. But there were 44 nominees from 29 countries, with Brazil and the UK as the biggest winners. The BBC's McMafia won as Best Drama Series, and Brazil's Natal Porta dos Fundos won Best Comedy. Now, other winners were La Reina del Flow from Colombia, Safe Harbor from Australia, and Dance or Die from the Netherlands. Now, when I saw that title, Dance or Die, it sounded like the future destination of all these like dancing and talent shows, these reality TV shows. And I pictured in my head as a televised competition where poor starving schlubs, they dance for online votes in order to earn money. You know what I mean? So the more votes you get, the more money you accumulate in your bank account. But if they don't get the minimum amount of votes, they die. You dance, you dance or you die. And because it's a dystopian future, like the minimum number of votes you have to get is constantly changing. That's all the time. No one's ever notified. It just changes. So if you get like 1,000 votes this week, you make, $8,000 or whatever the hell it is. But then you get 1,000 votes next week. Suddenly that's too low. So then you're dead. You're done for. It's over. And so all of the dancers are constantly terrified because of that. So it's like something that I would see from like the 1980s Running Man movie, just like that weird, just like competition, consumerism, 80s, just terror, Onto a more realistic policy change that's barking at the heels of YouTube creators. We got something called the Children's Online Privacy Protection Act, or COPPA. A lot of people were making videos about this last week, and I'm sure they'll keep making them until this takes effect in January. And if you've logged onto YouTube at all, well, I guess really since the past month, you've seen that they have these little notifications down at the bottom left about you got to set your channel to either safe for kids or not safe for kids. And then I think there's a banner up top that always says something around the lines of YouTube is changing its terms of service on December 10th. I think it's all associated with this COPPA thing. And you got to keep in mind that it's an act and not a law. So acts don't get you landed in jail. They just fine you a bunch of money. Laws can get you landed in jail and fine you money. And what this act does is protects privacy of children under 13 by requesting parental consent in order for companies to collect or use any of those users' personal information in order to for directed ads. And so it took effect in 2000, but it was never enforced until the change happened in 2016 when an advocacy group, family advocacy group, I think, complained to the FTC, the Federal Trade Commission, about YouTube collecting info from those young viewers that were under 13 years old. Now, YouTube settled with the FTC and paid $174 million in the form of a fine. And so now YouTube puts the onus on creators to comply with the new guidelines from the FTC or to face fines. So like I was saying, channels and videos must be labeled as made for kids or as not made for kids. Now, here's the problem with this. Now, if the channels are made for kids, like Rice Gum stuff and the Logan Paul and Jake Paul and like Ryan's Toys, which is an actual kid who makes, I think, unboxing videos for kids. Now, but his parents and whoever else, whatever adults are involved, are in the channel also. But if the video is marked made for kids, then about 90% of that revenue is lost from that video, and that's because YouTube and Google or whoever else won't be able to collect information from that video in order to make targeted ads for viewers, right? Because they're not supposed to collect information from kids under 13. That's how YouTube makes money, is by collecting, data, your information, what videos you watch, where you're from, what kind of topics you're into, and then they take that information and they sell it to some third-party company. And in turn, those third-party companies, they craft commercials that they show on your channel for those viewers. That's kind of how the whole cycle works there. If the video is not made for kids, then okay, unless the Federal Trade Commission deems that the video is made for kids, then the creator might face a possible fine of up to $42,500 per video, not just for the channel. So it's not just a one-time thing. If you have, 5 or 6 videos that FTC is saying, yeah, this is made for kids, and then you're hit with $42,500, well, up to, but let's just go with that. You're hit with $42,500 per video. You take that times 6. That's a lot. That's more than a lot of people will see in their lifetime. So it's gonna be kind of tough. So your choices are, you either choose that it's made for kids and then you get no money basically, or that you choose that it's not made for kids and face a possible lawsuit. It's a real tough bind, and a lot of creators are panicking at this because their livelihood is at stake, which is a genuine thing to have. You can't go from making, even if you're making, $700 a month from a small channel, even if you're making that, but that $700 is helping you pay your rent, your school, your whatever else. You lose that. You lose 90% of that. Let's say it's $1,000, just to keep the math simple for me to work out, right? If you're making $1,000 steadily on YouTube a month, and then you lose $900 of that revenue because you have a children's channel, you do games or toys or whatever for kids, and it's obviously for kids, and then FTC is like, well, okay, your channel's made for kids, its videos are made for kids, so you can't run any ads on it anymore. So you lose 90% of your income every month. You're down to $100, right? You lose $900 just like that, right? So it's kind of nuts. It's kind of nuts, actually. Because here's the thing, the FTC guidelines for quote-unquote kids content is very, very vague. It includes language such as like gaming, toys, art, thumbnails with bright colors. And you're like supposed to assume all that's made for kids. It's too much of a broad definition, and way too broad. And so it's like the FTC is suggesting that adults don't like gaming, which is incredible thing to think, because there's a goddamn gaming league out there that's run by adults, and I believe everyone in those things are 16 and older. I don't know what the minimum age is for joining one of those gaming leagues, but I mean, these guys and girls are out there playing in these leagues, and they're making 60-70 grand from winning these tournaments or more with sponsorships. So definitely adults like gaming. And then toys, you have a lot of toy reviews. I saw a video of this one YouTube creator. She makes toys, I don't know, from scratch or something. It looks amazing. It's like sculptures. She's a sculptor basically. And it's like, yeah, she's making toys, but her videos are not made for kids. You know what I mean? So it's kind of an insane thing. And then the thumbnail thing, like, I don't do that a lot, but I know the one of the things that the algorithm likes is to push thumbnails with a lot of bright colors and your photo in the thumbnail, and that's just to help that video grab attention. And that's why it's bright colors and wacky faces and all this other kind of garbage that people do. But I mean, that's not just for kids. It's just to grab attention, make your video stand out to everyone. So, and then the thing with like channels that aren't meant for kids are watched by kids. You know what I mean? Like stuff like PewDiePie and Pyrocynical, Jarvis Johnson, Comics Explained, which is one of my favorite channels, like John Tron. Are they supposed to be held liable because these kids are watching their content when there's stuff not made for kids? Like, I'm sure iDubbbz TV has a lot of kids that watch his channel, and there's no way in hell his content is made for children. So I don't know how this thing's gonna work out. I guess we're just gonna have to see. A lot of YouTubers are deciding to leave the platform just altogether because of this thing, because it is quite a scary development. So it will impact the kinds of videos that get uploaded to YouTube, and it's like, who's to blame for all that? I really see it as like 3 groups that don't include the creators at all. And it's YouTube basically for not following the damn act. Like, you knew it was there. Like, the act came around in 2000. YouTube was what, created in 2008, 2009. So the act was already in play, and if you didn't take any time to learn about it, then okay, fine. But YouTube has lawyers, so they should have been aware of this at some point before now, before it got to this point. And then the second culprit is the U.S. government for not enforcing the goddamn thing for so long, right? It's been on the books, so and I think the U.S. government created it around the time that the .com bubble was getting ready to burst in 98, 99 time frame. So it's not as if the internet just suddenly like came out of nowhere and then the government had no idea what could be done with it. I mean, the social media thing, I can get that, but the data collection, that had been going on at least for 2 years, when this whole thing was originally written. Otherwise, why would they write it if they weren't aware of it happening? You know what I mean? It's like, why would you write about a crime that no one's committing, So, and then the third culprit, of course, is lazy ass parents. Like, I don't get why you can just, I can understand parents who just get tired or whatever, but like, I blame those parents who just throw an iPad in front of their kids' faces and then don't monitor what those little fuckers watch. You know what I mean? Those are the parents. Like the ones that come home and they gotta help them with homework and help them with this and help them with that. I get that. But the ones that just like, okay, here's my phone, put it on YouTube. Here, go watch what you want. Get out of my way. I gotta watch my stories. That's the lazy ass parents I'm talking about. Like it's them, YouTube, and the U.S. government are to blame for this whole thing. Creators are gonna be the ones to pay the price, literally pay the price, but they aren't to blame for that at all. But moving from one crisis to another is CW's Crisis on Infinite Earths kicks off in 5 days. 5 days, and it looked like last week Barry Allen became the Negative Flash. And that's what I thought at first, because there is a story about Barry becoming a Negative Flash. I think it happens in the New 52. I don't remember, but that wasn't the case on the TV show. Even though the costume resembles the New 52 Negative Flash, I think it's 250 New 52. Anyway, in the comics, Barry becomes a Negative Flash after he taps into the Negative Speed Force, which is the same Speed Force that the Reverse Flash uses. And on the TV show, Reverse Flash taught Nora Allen, Barry's future daughter, how to tap into the Speed Force last season. And so I thought they were gonna go for the Negative Flash stories, but it's like so close to Crisis on Infinite Earths, it doesn't seem like they would go that route, so close to this major crossover. Staying with the Crisis on Infinite Earth stuff, the second trailer for it came out today, and it's a pretty cool trailer. I think that's the first one I've seen with Tom Welling in there, and he's being asked, "Hey, are you Clark Kent?" So I was like, what? So that looked pretty cool. And then I saw the new trailer for Doctor Who season 12, which was kind of funny because I had a coworker of mine. She was talking to someone else about the Weeping Angels, and she was basically explaining the Weeping Angels to this coworker. And then I got to talking to her, and I was like, "Well, I didn't know you watched Doctor Who." She was like, "Yeah, I was a huge fan of Matt Smith and David Tennant." And then I asked her, "Did she like Peter Capaldi?" And she was like, "Nah, I didn't like Peter Capaldi at all." I was like, "Oh, was he just too mean?" She was like, "Yeah, he's just too boring," or something about him. She didn't like Peter Capaldi at all. And I asked her, did she like Jodie Whittaker? She did like Jodie Whittaker, but Jodie Whittaker seemed dorky, or the show seemed dorky with Jodie Whittaker. And I just kept thinking to myself, how crazy is it that you're calling a Doctor Who show dorky? Like, isn't that like the whole point? Her explanation was that Matt Smith and David Tennant, their doctors had more adventure in the stories, and I guess Jodie Whittaker's is just too brainy or more of a parody, she said. So that was pretty cool to see the new trailer today. I like the new trailer I saw for it today. It's the new season is gonna pick up on January 1st, so that was pretty cool. And then I read also Doctor Who related, former Doctor Who executive producer Steve Moffat and writer Mark Gatiss, they're going to be behind Netflix's new show about Bram Stoker's Dracula. That's also going to come out in January. And so I don't know. Moffat had his moments on Doctor Who. He's the one that came up. I don't know if he came up with it, but he wrote the episode that introduced the Weeping Angels to Doctor Who. So that was Blink from season 3. So I got to give him some leeway. And he also did stuff with The Silence. So a lot of good stuff. He has a lot of good episodes under his belt. So I'll see how the Dracula show goes. It's only three episodes long, I believe. It's not a very long series. It's probably going to be like Sherlock, where it's like an hour and a half, but it's very, very short, or 50 minutes to an hour, but it's very, very short season. And then the other thing was that Curb Your Enthusiasm season 10 trailer. I saw it today also. And I can't wait for it. Larry David is a hilarious guy. I love his character on Curb Your Enthusiasm. Such an asshole, such a selfish prick. The guy is he's just all about himself. And he doesn't care about society or anything. Whose feelings he hurts. He doesn't care about none of that stuff. But the thing is, the joke is always on him, which is what I like. He never gets away with being an asshole just for being an asshole. The joke is always on him, which is something I enjoy. It's kind of like George Costanza from Seinfeld. The joke is always on him. Well, I guess it was really on all of them on Seinfeld. Jerry, Elaine, Kramer. Yeah, it was on the joke was always on all of them. They were always the butt of their jokes. Their cruelty always got them to get the raw end of the stick. So I can't wait for Curb season 10 to come out. And I did see the Black Widow trailer today also. It looked okay, I guess. I think a lot of the things with these Marvel movies and really superhero trailers is the music that they use, all of the heavy drums, the dun dun dun, wah, all that stuff kind of gets on my nerves. It's all sounds the same. So the trailer looked like, I think Grace was saying, made her remind her of a Logan, a Wolverine origin story. I don't know. I didn't see that. I didn't get that impression from the trailer myself. It just looks like, I don't know what it looks like. It just looks like a movie. I have no idea. I have no idea what it looks like. It didn't spark my interest really much at all. Lastly, I was all prepped to do a review for Mandalorian episode 4, like I had said in my other video on the Mandalorian episode 1 through 3, but nothing really of interest happened in episode 4. Some things happened, but it didn't seem to move the story forward at all. It was like another side story that was, I guess the pacing was a little bit better, but nothing happened of interest at all, really. He's still being tracked. DeLorean's still running around with Yodelay, and they're still being tracked by, whoever's after them, the bounty hunters. Not much went on, except maybe the birth of some new Yodelay memes, because there is a part in the show, in that episode, where Yodelay's given some soup. It's like a cup of soup or something, and there is a meme going around now that he's instead of a cup of soup, Yodelay's sipping the tea that Kermit used to sip, because in that scene, I think there's like some kind of conflict or something's going on, and Yodelay's just kind of standing there, sipping the tea, so it kind of looks funny. But I also realized that Yodelay the puppet is just too goddamn cute. Like, I don't get it. Every time I look at that puppet's face, I'm like, oh wow, are you real? I want you as a pet, or as a guidance counselor, or something. That little thing is so goddamn cute. I can't take it. I'd like to see what the merch looks like, though. I know there's merch coming out for that, for sure. If it isn't already out, I know the merch for Yodelay is coming out. I gotta see what that merch looks like. I might get that merch. That might be my actually first ever Star Wars purchase, is Yodelay. I'm dead serious. Like, I know a lot of people have like lightsabers and stormtrooper outfits and all that kind of shit, but Yodelay, I don't have anything Star Wars. Not even a poster. I have the movies, but that's it. As far as merch is concerned, I got nothing Star Wars. So Yodelay might be the very first Star Wars merch that I buy, if depending on how the doll looks. If it's as cute as a goddamn TV show, then I gotta buy one. I'm gonna have to buy one for sure. But what I was thinking though was that, like, this thing is so cute on the show. What if it turns out that Yodelay is actually the main like overarching villain of the story, right? It's like running around. We already know he can use the Force. We already know that. Okay, he can use the Force at a very young age, because I guess 50 years old is very young for these creatures. So it can already use the Force. So what if we say, like, as it's going through its like, this journey of being protected by DeLorean, Yodelay learns to use the Force in like the most evil way possible, right? And it just and we find out near the end of the show that Yodelay's grown up. Okay, how about this? Yodelay gets separated from DeLorean at some point, right? DeLorean feels like he's failed in his mission to, protect Yodelay. And so in order to survive, Yodelay has to end up like going to the dark side of the Force, right? So by the end of the story, when the two of them meet up again, Yodelay's already cut like this, just this swath of death and destruction throughout the galaxy, and it's taking over the New Order. He's taking over the New Order, and it's just running things with just like this iron grip. It's just ruthless, but it's still cute as hell. That's the twist. It's that, like, being evil doesn't make him look evil. It's still cute as hell with those big doe eyes and that cute little smile, but it's just like you come near him and it just like crushes your throat with the Force. It's like one of the most brutal dictators ever, It's like Sith Lords bow to him, and it's like, I don't know. It's just like It's just a funny thing. So anyway, that's gonna do it for this video. Thanks for tuning in. Like and subscribe if you'd like to like and subscribe to things. Like I said, I'll try to get another one of these out on Saturday. But until then, I'll see you later. Bobby Hams signing out. Peace.